most of the participants in the Cannabis Action Network are new people in the movement. What we're talking about is the legalization of cannabis. Let's see, where to start. Cannabis Action Network basically is a group of people who study drug policy and who have come to understand that the current drug policy in this country has gone awry. I can tell you a story about what happened to us one day. I'll just show you how bad it's gotten. Main part of our plan for political reform is education, educating the public. One of the main things we do is we set up tables on free speech grounds, and we pass out information, put up a display of information about marijuana legalization. We're at a concert, we're out in Oakland, California, we have a table set up with our information. The police come by, they say, "Where's your permit?" We have our permit, we went through the permit system, we got the permit. We give it to the police officer, he says, "Legalization of marijuana? You can't do this. What are you doing here? Marijuana is illegal. You have no right to be here." They say, "We have to call the sergeant." He has the permit. They call the sergeant. They're motorcycle cops. In the midst of the chaos, the cop with the permit drives away with the permit on his motorcycle. He just leaves. The sergeant comes, he says, "Where's your permit?" I say, "Your officer, he drove away with my permit." He said, "You don't have a permit. You leave now, we'll arrest you. Right here on the spot, we're going to arrest you." So we're up against a situation that has reached a crisis point, basically. Not only do we have to change the marijuana laws, but we have to educate people on exactly what the situation is. We have to teach civic education to educate our lawmakers, to educate our law enforcers, to educate everybody on exactly what the situation is. The Cannabis Action Network believes that the only sane, compassionate solution is the legalization of marijuana. So how are we going to do it? Let's see. Well, the best thing to do is just to describe the evolution of the Cannabis Action Network. It started out about 2 years ago. I was a college student at the University of Illinois. The University of Illinois is the host to an event that's been going on for about 20 years called Hash Wednesday. Every third Wednesday of April, up until 2 years ago, the students would come out in the middle of campus, bongs, pipes, paraphernalia, smoking pot, no problem, a smoking. The university appeared to understand, they appeared to accept it. The students are out there saying, "Look, the policy is bad." The university knows the policy is bad and they're accepting it. Right about 1988, the war on drugs started to crack down. The university started getting outside pressure. Stop Hash Wednesday. If you don't stop Hash Wednesday, sanctions, basically, all kinds of sanctions. So the university calls the cops in Hash Wednesday 1988. First time ever, students unprepared out there on the quad Hash Wednesday with their 20-foot pipes with all their pot, and the cops are there. They start getting arrested. I watched the whole thing go down. The students had no idea what to do. No idea. They're out there with this, doing this smoking, talking about pot, but they have no idea about political reform. 11 arrests, and it was brutal. The cops came in and they cracked heads. Well, the university thought they were going to end Hash Wednesday. Luckily, it worked out the same way that most of their drug policy works out. It completely backfired. Instead, the students at the University of Illinois said, "This is terrible. We have to start organizing." And we started a student group. We started Students for the Legalization of Marijuana. Well, we didn't stop there. We started student groups. We started calling people around the state of Illinois. We started saying, look what's happening here. We have to get together. We started calling people all over the country. We called High Times. We called Normal. We called anybody who's never we could get a hold of. And we said, look, we have to do something. And together in the state of Illinois, we organized what was called the first hemp tour. It was a series of 5 events. We went from town to town to town for 5 days. We set up tables, we passed out information, and we told people about pot. We told people about what was happening with the laws, and we told people about what we had to do to change the laws. The response was overwhelming. The media came out, we got coverage everywhere that we went, positive coverage. And it was just so successful that we had to carry on. That first hemp tour was organized basically just an ad hoc group of people who came together. National Normal was supporting the hemp tour. Wisconsin Normal was supporting the hemp tour. National Normal, we really planned on channeling the hemp tour into National Normal at that point with the help of a couple of people, Doug McVeigh, John Getman, who's back there in the back room. John Getman was on hemp tour with us. 2 days after the first hemp tour, John Getman was fired. All participation with National Normal ended 2 days after the first hemp tour. So here we are, a group of students in Illinois, a group of people across the country. There's nothing going on politically. We have nowhere to turn. We just said, okay, we'll do it on our own. We got educated. We educated ourselves, so we learned political reform. We decided, well, this hemp tour is so successful, we'll do another hemp tour. We know we can just find people in Illinois to do it. Let's go to Indiana. Let's find people in Indiana. So we got together a group of people, and we funded a crew to go to Indiana. I couldn't find anybody to go. We couldn't find anybody to go. Me and my dog went. We were the only two people who would go. We drove around the state of Indiana. We found 5 new contacts, 5 people willing to educate themselves, to put on an event to educate the public. And before you know it, the next season we had 9 dates, 2 states on the hemp tour. It went great. You know, we didn't stop there. We got more organized, and instead of sending out a scouting crew just to Indiana, the next time we sent out a scouting crew to 17 states. Hemp tour grew, and we had 20 states, 50 cities, and it just kept on getting bigger and bigger from there. Right now, the current hemp tour that we're just finishing up, we have 43 states on the agenda, and we have over 150 cities. Okay, so where do we go from there? We have a hemp tour. Well, basically, the hemp tour is just a starting point for a national strategy to legalize cannabis. The hemp tour has a couple different phases. Number 1 is, like I said, we find our people. We go to these towns and we educate our people, and we develop a strong base of support in any given area. We find the people who can do the events. We find a group of people who's going to coordinate a statewide effort. Basically finding our people. So we do that in an area. After that, we know we have to move on. We come through with another tour, and we call that an A tour, where it's a main focus tour. Instead of coming through on a tour to educate our people, we want to educate other people now. In order to do that, we know it takes serious effort. We send an advanced crew ahead, 2 months ahead of time, to go to every town, talk to the organizers, sit down with the organizers, develop a strategy to do something relevant in each one of these towns. Like I said, we started 2 years ago. Right now, we're at the point of where we've done A tours in approximately 17 to 20 states. Where do we go from an A tour? Well, where do we go for an A tour? We ourselves, the Cannabis Action Network, we're only one step away from an A tour ourselves. We learn ourselves so we can teach other people how to do it. What we came up with, and what basically all the participants in this huge over 40 state network have decided is a C tour point. We're going to go from place to place. We're going to have conferences. At these conferences, we're going to have statewide roundtable discussions. At the statewide roundtable discussions, those people interested and educated who have been in the program for 2 years are going to sit down and figure out what state agenda do we follow from this point. That's the point we're at right now. Things are going great. We're getting bigger and better and more participants than we can possibly manage at this point. The only thing we're lacking is basically finances. We are willing to get as big and to do as much as anybody wants. We're coordinating 6 different projects. I know my time's up, or I could probably go on, but we have 6 national projects right now: Civil Rights Project, the Lobbying Project, developing media strategies, coordinating national state chapters and local chapters. Basically, we're asking people to get involved. The Hemp Tour of the Cannabis Action Network is a vehicle for everybody to participate in the legalization of cannabis. This is the place where we can all focus our attention to legalize cannabis, to share our resources, to share our ideas, to work together, to develop a united front, to show these people that there is a united front. We're not just a bunch of potheads running around like chickens with their heads cut off. This is a national movement. We're not going to stop till it's legalized. That's it.